Hey everyone, it's me, James O'Reilly here. Very welcome this morning to our let's just call it our Christmas live stream, helping you with your business English. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is we're going to go very quickly into this, and we're going to continue with our 50 expressions that you need while you are doing business. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it up ready. Give me a sec. I'm opening the phone here because I had it on something else. So we're going to jump in, and this was from Lingua Marina, and we started doing our list yesterday, and I'm going to be writing on the screen these expressions that you need that will help you in the coming year and for many years to come, because they're very popular business expressions. So let me get my text ready to go, and as I said, I'm going to be spelling these words for you at the same time, okay? So it's quite useful to remember, and perhaps it's a tip for you as well in English to spell in your mind, or even out loud when you're talking. So my name would be James, and that way you can get into you can get used to it. Basically, it sounds pretty. You might feel like, oh, it's a bit silly, but I think it helps. Let me get the next one here. Here we go. So what we did yesterday, just to remind you, is we went from to whom it may concern when you're writing an email. Please find attached. That was our number 2, please find attached. So when you add something like a document to an email, please find attached. As I said, in Spanish you say os adjunto or te adjunto, but in English we're going to say please find attached the document as requested. The next one then, we had FYI, for your information. I'm not going to write these ones because we did these yesterday, and you can find them in the video that I did yesterday in the LinkedIn stream or in the YouTube stream. Going down then after that, we had ASAP, ASAP, as soon as possible. After that, we had CV and resume. CV being used more on this side of the Atlantic, more in the UK, perhaps in Australia as well. And resume I really associate with the United States. Both interchangeable, okay? After that, let me turn down the gain on this. Just get away from this microphone a bit. Okay. After that, we had moving you to BCC. So it's when you are putting someone in on an email, but not necessarily to be involved. Okay. And you can then say, like I said yesterday, Maria, moving you to BCC. Thank you very much. Just to save your inbox. So you're not necessary for this conversation anymore, but I'll put you in BCC. And in Spanish it was CCO, I believe, in an email. Then there was CC, which is in an email, CC, which is carbon copy. And you can say, for example, like I said yesterday, hi, Paul, I'm CCing Maria into this email because she is our financial officer and she will be giving us some help with this. Okay, I'm adding her, I'm CCing. Now, on to the next one was team building. These are exercises or fun things that you can do to create a good environment in your office, perhaps going on a day away together, even having a Christmas party can be part of team building. I want to talk about this later, the Christmas party. Cooperation is can be confused with collaboration. Collaboration is working with a different company or a person or a business, working with them, and cooperating is listening and doing what you are told. Let's take 2 examples. Collaboration, 2 musical artists coming together to make a song, and then cooperation is the police telling you to what to do. Okay, do what we tell you. You need to help us do our job, to cooperate. So generally in the working world, you are working and you are collaborating with other people. Start from scratch. Remember, all of these are with the writing in yesterday's. Okay, start from scratch was to start from the very beginning. 9 to 5 is the typical working hours. Between those hours, 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the early evening. If I remember, I'm going to talk to you about this difference, okay? Again, between morning, afternoon, evening, night, okay? After that, we had set deadlines and meet deadlines. The deadline is the time or the day, let's say the day, that you need to have something finished. So if you set a deadline, it's like setting your alarm. I'm going to put this for the 1st of June. Now I will set the deadline that I will get to my next level in English. Okay, I'm going to have a B2 level of English by the 1st of June. Now, to meet the deadline, I need to have reached that. I need to do it. So I need to reach B2 before that date or on that date. That's to meet a deadline. After that, now these are the ones that we have, and we didn't. Those were our final ones yesterday, and I'm going to write now on the screen for you guys the next one. And the next one is, if I can find it. All right. Okay. The next one is TOGIVETHEGREENLIGHT. To give the green light. This is when you have been, or you give the go-ahead for something to happen. If you go to your manager, if you go to your boss, your CEO, and they give you the green light, like in traffic, what they are doing is they're saying, yes, I approve. They are approving, and that you can continue with what you need. Perhaps it is for a budget. Perhaps it is a project idea. Whatever it may be, to give the green light is to say yes and give approval. So it's easy to remember because it's very like the traffic lights that we have, okay, when we're driving. After that, we have, I'm going to do it up here. I need to, because I've got all this list. Okay. So that is to give the green light. Remember, listen to and look at the spelling. And then we have BEHIND, SCHEDULE. Two different pronunciations for this: behind schedule or behind schedule. I generally use schedule more, and I think I hear it more as well. But schedule, it's kind of we say a moot or a debating topic. But schedule is fine. Behind schedule, this is when you have programmed something, and you are. Let's take the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Monday, I will have this done. Tuesday, I will do this. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. If you are behind schedule, it means that by Wednesday, you still haven't completed maybe everything on Monday, and your work is not finished from Monday. Your work is not finished from Tuesday. You are behind schedule because on Wednesday, you should be starting Wednesday's work. And the other one was ahead of schedule. AHEADOFSCHEDULE. Ahead of schedule is the opposite, that you are ahead of your work, and on Wednesday you are already starting to do the work of Thursday or Friday, for example. So ahead of schedule, we're thinking really of projects, behind schedule and ahead of schedule in a plan, in a project. Very normal, very used, and very useful. Better to be ahead of schedule. But then sometimes if you're ahead of schedule, you might be thinking, did I miss something? Did we forget something? You have to be careful there. Okay, so nobody wants to be behind schedule. What you want to be is on schedule. Elevator pitch is the next one. Elevator pitch. ELEVATOR PITCH. Right, so an elevator pitch, let's just tell you what a pitch is. A pitch is generally when you're in baseball and you throw the ball, you pitch the ball. Okay, so you're throwing the ball at somebody to hit the ball. And an elevator pitch is when you are doing this in a very, you can imagine in an elevator, you have a short amount of time when you meet someone. So you have to throw your idea at that person who might be important in a short amount of time. You only have, let's say, a minute or a very short amount of time to give an idea, a sales idea or a new idea. So let me give you an example. I am a salesperson and I meet somebody and I don't have a lot of time, and they say, okay, well, tell me quickly. Say, well, look, I am an English business and I provide classes on a one-to-one basis with also groups involved at a very competitive price, and we will do all the work for you. We will do all the paperwork, and there's nothing you need to worry about, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to say everything in a very short amount of time to give my pitch, and in the shortest amount of time. So that's kind of a way I can explain that. So any idea that you have in a short amount of time is an elevator pitch, because as I said, when you go up in an elevator and you meet the person, you only have probably 20 seconds. Elevator pitch. Next is to catch up. TOCATCHUP. To catch up. So to catch up is perhaps, well, there's two ways of looking at this. As I said, in English, there's always different ways to look at things. Depends on context. In this context, it could be to catch up with someone is to meet up with someone and find out what they have been doing recently. So if someone's working on their end of the project and you're working on your end of the project, let's meet on Friday to catch up and share the work that we have been doing. To catch up is kind of to meet. I use it quite often. And often you'll hear people say, I'll catch you later, or let's catch up on Friday. It would be great to catch up. There is another meaning to this, like everything, but we'll just focus on this one today. To catch up. All right, where are we now? I know where we are. We're at the coffee time, so let's have a bit of coffee. Right, this is a great one. Is the next one. So is to sign off on something. TOSIGNOFFONSOMETHING. This is where a person gives their formal approval for something. So often you can agree something with another team or with another business or with a client. You can agree something and then it's a verbal agreement. And you say to them, okay, everything looks great, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring these to my manager so she can sign off on them. She can approve them. It's like giving the green light, and to sign off is more the signature or an email or even a verbal yes can be enough sometimes to sign off on something. So often we'll say, okay, I just need to get my manager to sign off on this, and then we can go ahead to sign off on something. Okay, normally this something is to sign off on a contract, for example. Okay, great. We're moving on. Then we have TOBEAHEAD OFTHECURVE, to be ahead of the curve. So to be ahead of the curve is to plan well ahead as a business and to be ready for any unforeseen problems that may happen. And also, this planning ahead could be looking at, for example, what's going to be the trend in 2023. So we take two well-known companies in trainers or sneakers like Nike and Adidas. They want to be ahead of the curve. So maybe next year they want to be thinking about designing what's going to be fashionable. Basketball shoes, or more running track shoes, or some new innovative design. Planning for this kind of thing, trying to stay ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. And we're on to the next one. This generally happens at the beginning of a process when we're not sure. So it's BALL PARKFIGURE. Okay, so figure is another word synonym for number. Okay, a figure, when we talk about business, is often we talk about the figures, the numbers. So a ballpark figure is when you give an estimate, an approximation of a price. Right now, I don't know how much this is going to cost, but we are, let's say I'm doing my elevator pitch. Sounds good to the CEO of the company, and she says to me, okay, James, how much is this going to cost me? And I say, well, right now I'm not exactly sure. I would need to look at the numbers when I go back to the office. And she might say to me, well, just give me a ballpark figure. And I'd say, well, for a company of about 300 people, you're looking at 25,000. So it's an about number, an approximation. And then, of course, I'll come back and I'll give her an exact figure later on. So that's a ballpark figure. If you're wondering where ballpark comes from, I suppose it comes from baseball, which is the nickname for the place where they play, is the ballpark. And maybe, I couldn't tell you exactly, they hit the ball, it lands somewhere, but it lands somewhere in the ballpark, okay? So we know it's in there, but not exactly. We don't know where the ball is. So that's kind of the number. That's my guess anyway. Very common. So if you want to say to people, can you give me, if you're talking about numbers, can you give me a number? Say, can you give me a ballpark figure? It's very well known in the English world to say this. Very common. Right, then we have to TOKICKOFF, and we'll use this in the simple meaning of to start something, and to start something like a meeting. So, okay, guys, let's kick off the meeting. The meeting will kick off at 8 o'clock, or we're gonna kick this meeting. We're gonna kick this meeting off. It's very kind of casual now. You have it more in businesses where they're rolling out or launching, but to kick off a meeting, for example, is very common to use this expression. Okay, let's kick this meeting off. First, I want to talk about blah blah blah. Okay, to kick off a meeting. Next one is WHITECOLLAR. So white collar. White collar is somebody who generally works for a big international or big company. A person who is like me at the moment. This is my collar. And generally, when you think about people going to work in a company. They're wearing a shirt, perhaps it's white. It's kind of traditional color for going to work, a white collar. University educated, let's say. This type of person, we refer to these people, they're the people in the companies, in the offices, I would say. And then the other one is blue collar, and blue collar are the people working more in the factories. Okay, that's kind of the way mentally I would make the distinction. The people, generally white collar is at a higher level. And also we have this idea of white collar, crime, for example, white collar crime, which if we're looking at, for example, what's in the news right now is FTX, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. This would be considered white collar crime. It's done with computers. It's done at a CEO level. He's robbed a lot of money from people. He's stolen, well, apparently. And this would be considered white collar crime. It's been done in a kind of business, in a business context. Super duper. Where are we? Next one's quite simple. TOLOOK, ATTHEBIGPICTURE, to look at the big picture. Okay, so here it's looking at everything, kind of standing back and looking at taking everything in and what everything means. So when we look at the big picture in relation to a company, we need to look at the effects and the rewards that we can get from expanding, for example, into a new market. Let's say we're going to expand into Asia, and we need to see what is that going to bring us. Let's stand back and look at the big picture. Well, the big picture is we're going to be expanding. We're going to get notoriety. People will learn about us. They'll know more about our company in Asia, and we will become more well known. And even though it will cost a lot of money, in the long run, it will be very useful. Look at the big picture. And you can use it for everything. Very common expression. Stand back and look at the, look at the big picture. All right. Okay, the next one is to PLAYBYTHE. BOOK. To play by the book means simply to follow the rules. To follow the rules. To follow the standards, the rules, the norms. Well, I wouldn't say. I think the norms might not be a great. I'm not sure if it's a normas, because normas might be more rules. But in English, the norms are like just generally what people do, and just follow by the rules. Play by the book. Okay, don't do anything illegal, because if you do, that could be a white collar crime. Play by the book. Follow the rules. We saw this recently. TALLITADAY. To call it a day means to finish temporarily, perhaps, for right now. So when we want to stop something, the example is you've been working on a project all day, you've been in a meeting for quite a long time. You could say, okay guys, let's call it a day. That means let's finish for now. Let's finish. You can just finish for now, or you can begin again tomorrow, but when you call it a day, it's like saying, okay guys, let's quit. But we don't really say this in English, let's quit. So we just say, let's call it a day. Or another way would be to say, okay, I think that's enough for today. But call it a day is quite commonly used, and we use it when we want to just finish. Okay, let's call it a day. Very common. All of these are common. If they're not, I will let you know. And just to let you know that we're working with LK Formación, LK Formation, lkformacion.com. Just tailor-made solutions for your business. Hop over to the website and check it out. And we will continue now with our list. I hope these are going to be useful for you. They are very useful expressions. And just remember, you can go back and look. As I said, yesterday I did some. Next one is There we go. TOCORNER THEMARKET. To corner the market is to be the biggest player in the market, to be the most aggressive, most in control. So if you take a company that really controls everything in their sector, they have the market cornered. It's generally what most big businesses would like to do. They would like to corner the market. So it's like getting the market, which is all the business, into a corner, and I have it. So perhaps in the early days of smartphones, Apple had the market cornered. They cornered the market. Now it's more open. There's a few more players, but that's an idea. If you can think of any business where one particular company has the market controlled, they have cornered the market. Perhaps an oil company in a certain country, or like I said, a telephone company, any company in any area where they have most of the control. Next is nice little expression, this one, GETINTHEGROUNDFLOOR. Get in. I'm going to have to stick AT in here. Get in at the ground floor. So if we're talking about, it's kind of a metaphor really. You're thinking about a new startup, and you get in at the ground floor with that company, that startup. It's like the ground floor is like you're getting into an elevator, you're getting into a lift, and you're getting in with that company when they are on the bottom floor, when they are on the ground floor. Their stock is not worth much, and you're probably taking a calculated risk. But then you get into the elevator, and the elevator, of course, goes up. First floor, second floor, and the stock value rises. So when you get in with a company at the early stages, you get in at the ground floor, and then you're taking a risk. But let's take an example of people who got in at the ground floor with Facebook or Twitter or Tesla. When they got in and they invested early at the ground floor level, now their stock, acciones, is worth a lot of money. So that's to get in at the ground floor. Then of course, it's a risk, because you're talking about as well things of like where it's a risk, like a cryptocurrency, like, oh yeah, I gotta get in at the ground floor, this crypto is going to be huge, and then we see what's happened. Okay, so the get in at the ground floor can also go to the basement, so nice expression. I like that one. I think it's pretty cool. Next one is used a lot. To think outside the box. Okay, this was an expression that was overused, perhaps, probably still is used a bit too much. But if you say it in the right context, it's got a nice meaning, to think outside the box. Like, so you imagine yourself in a box and you're constrained. You got to think outside the box. You got to think bigger. You got to look at the big picture. So think of alternative ways to do things. Thinking alternatively is a nice way to put it. Think outside the box. Let me go through the spelling. TOTHINKOUTSIDETHEBOX. And we'll go back to think outside the box. What have we got next? TOUCHBASE. To touch base. Okay, that is to get back and get in contact with your colleagues, for example, whoever you are working with. Get in contact with them to touch base. It's again a baseball expression. The bases are the white things that you run from one, and it's just to get back in and let people know what's going on, get in contact with people that you are working with. So touch base, get in contact with people you are working it. If I'm not sure if it's here, no it's not, but to reach out to someone is a bit less like you know the person less. To touch base is more someone you know. And the one I'll put here is to reach out, REACHOUT. To reach out is more, there's a distance perhaps. Maybe that's more like a client, for example, or a possible client, or someone you don't really know. So I might be asked to reach out to prospective clients. I don't know these people. And to touch base is, let's say, a client you do know. Okay, so that's to reach out. That wasn't on the list, but it goes well together. Next, we have, yes, it's a nice one. I'm just gonna, yes, WORDOFMOUTH. This is when you talk about a product, a person, whatever it may be, and you are telling people about how good it is. And it's a nice way that you can start to grow your business. For example, could be someone like me. It could be people start talking about what I'm doing. Say, oh yeah, so there's a guy, he does live streaming in English, and it's quite useful. He has some good expressions. And right now, not many people are watching me, but by people telling other people, by word of mouth, 1 second. By word of mouth, the audience begins to grow. Okay, so word of mouth there, and it's a very good way of advancing your marketing. Word of mouth, telling other people. After that, we have this one. Red tape, REDTAPE. Red tape is bureaucracy. Red tape is administration. It is all of this paperwork that you need to do in order to get something done. And not many people like doing it, of course. It can be very time consuming, very stressful for people, and nobody likes red tape. So when you're trying to get, for example, something done in relation to a project, perhaps red tape could be working from one country to another country and trying to negotiate or navigate all of this red tape, all of this bureaucracy, these rules in the EU, the rules are different in the UK, the rules are different. So red tape, nobody likes red tape, but it certainly exists. Okay, so next one is over here with the same word, to be INTHERED. To be in the red is when we talk about our finances, when we talk about our money for a company. To be in the red is when you are not doing very well, let's say. So it's when the company is in debt. The numbers, when you look at the accounts and you look at the bottom number, generally when that number is in red, it's not good. It means that the company is in debt. In D-E-B-T. The translation here, sorry, the pronunciation is debt. The B is in fact silent. So to be in the red is to be in debt. What you want really is to be in the black. In the black is when your figures, when you look at the sheet of paper on the screen, it is in black. Normally you might think in green, but actually in black. Black is good, and that's what you want. You want those numbers for your company in black. To be in the black. Be in the red is bad. Next one is my, H-A-N-D-S-A-R-E-T-I-E-D. My hands are tied. This means I'm unable to, I don't have the authority to be able to do anything more. I'm not able. I am, maybe there is red tape stopping me. Maybe a manager is stopping me. Maybe rules are stopping me. Maybe time is stopping me. Something is stopping me. My hands are tied. I'm unable to do any more, or I'm unable to, for example, if somebody asks me, can you give me a better price? I need to have this at a lower price so I can get my manager to sign off and say, well, my hands are tied. I'm unable to do that. It's not in my I don't have the authority to do that. My hands are tied. So when you are unable for some reason, whatever's stopping you, it's tying your hands. So if you're unable to do something, say, my hands are tied. Okay. We had to be in the red. We have to be in the black. What about this one? To get A-F-O-O-T-I-N-T-H-E-D-O-O-R. To get a foot in the door. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to think about this visually. When you think about a salesperson, we used to say salesman, but we're making these more in English for a long time now. We're making all of these things with man at the end more neutral, okay? So it used to be a salesman, and the traditional way was a salesman, but now a salesperson would go from door to door, and they would have a product, and they would say, hi there, if you have a few moments, I'd like to talk to you about the, and the people shut the door. Go to the next door. Hello, very nice to meet you. Could you... Door closed. Not interested. But so then these salespeople perhaps would develop a technique of, to stop the door from closing, is to put their foot so the door can't close. So when the person tries to close the door, say, oh, sorry. Yeah, and you put the foot there to stop the door from closing. You say, please, if you just give me a moment, I'll quickly explain. Okay, you've got 20 seconds. Okay. So tell me quickly. And when you get the foot in the door, it's that opportunity. It's just to get the opportunity that then can lead to a contract or a bigger opportunity or a merger, or not a merger, but a collaboration or a sale. So often, for example, people see doing internships for free as a foot in the door. That's working for a company for free as somebody maybe who's just graduated from university, and you just get an internship, you work for free. But what you're doing is you're getting your foot in the door, and hopefully that will lead to something bigger. And hopefully for you as an intern, it will be a job. A foot in the door is, okay, for me as a teacher, let's say if I were working on my own to get a short contract with a company and then work with them for a short amount of time only, and if they like me, they'll continue, or it gives me that opportunity. Get the foot in the door, or even do something for free. Okay, so don't forget that. That is a foot in the door. And very commonly used, I'm sure in your language you have something similar, but that is the visual expression that we use. So what you want to do is get a foot in the door. Next one. O-U-T. SOURCING. Outsourcing. This is, if we take me again, for example, somebody wants me to give them a class, let's say in English, and I, as an English teacher, find another English teacher to do the work for me. And I'll say, I have a client, they are looking for someone for 2 hours a week. The company will pay me and I will pay you. So I outsource my work. Now, if we take you can take bigger companies who are hired to do whatever they are to do, and then they get someone else to do it, and then they sell the product. So it's very common to outsource. You are hired and then you get someone else to do the work. Outsourcing. Next one. TARGET. DEMOGRAPHIC. Make sure I spelled that correctly. English is not a transparent language. Yeah, graphic. Yeah, demographic. Target demographic is the people or the businesses or whatever that you are focusing on. So your target demographic, if I make toys, my target demographic could be children under the age of 5. If I make toys, my target demographic is children under the age of 5 with this toy. And then I could even be more specific and say it's boys. I'm targeting boys. And we move it into a business context. You're targeting, you make a product and then you are targeting, who are you focusing on? Adults, teens, children, old people, business people, people going on holidays. The group of people and the type of people that they are is your target demographic. The demographic is really the type of people. It's an easy way to say that word. And your target is where you are focused. Let's go here, and we have something, unfortunately, that is happening quite commonly now. Downsizing. This is, let me see. Yeah. Downsizing is something that's happening in a lot of companies. I had a quick look at the headlines this morning, and again, I saw another company. Can't remember where. Well, let me see if I can find it. It was. Yeah, the news has changed. But it was, yeah. I don't know, maybe it was BlackRock or something, but I don't think it was. Yeah, I was just looking at the news feed this morning quickly, and it had that one of these companies is downsizing. I'll say, so what downsizing is essentially is cutting your staff. Your staff are your working people, and you are making, so you're making, you have 100 employees and you're turning it into 50. You're downsizing. Upsizing would be the opposite, I suppose, wouldn't it? Upsizing. Downsizing. Okay. Here we have something, let's staff, we just mentioned, STAFF, staff shakeup. Staff shakeup is essentially what Elon Musk has done when he went into Twitter. He cleaned out a lot of the staff and he's changed a lot of people. He's done a staff shakeup. He's changed a lot of people. He's moved people from one area to another. He's fired people. He's hired people. He's changed the staff. And that's what a staff shakeup is, essentially. Another one here is quite useful, is end user. End user is the person who will use the product. Okay, let's start at the start. We start in a factory and we make a product. We were talking earlier that we have a company that focuses, and our target demographic is boys under 5 years old. That's who we are focusing. We're making toys for them. Okay, and at the end, when we go through all of the production process and delivery and all of the logistics, at the very end, the user of our product will be a boy who is under 5. Okay, we are a toy company. That boy will be an end user. Okay, it's a bit sexist to talk about that now, boys and girls, and they all play with the same toys anyway. But let's say the end user is a child under 5 years old. Okay, let's put it that way. In the past, it would have been a boy at that age, and now we're looking at the bigger picture is let's get the girls involved too and have our toy to be our end user. Shouldn't be just boys, it should be girls as well. Okay. One thing I did notice though, even at a young age, I was teaching younger children when I was in Istanbul, and even at a very young age, I did notice that the one thing especially I wasn't ready for, because I suppose that the thinking was boys and girls the same nowadays, but I did notice that when I was in Istanbul, the girls, even at a very young age, when I was giving paper, they all wanted the pink paper. It was crazy. So it's kind of this stereotype of boys like blue, girls like pink. At that time, which was about 7 years ago, it was very true. So I don't know, that's something to look into, but if you had your toy product and you were focusing on your demographic was girls or boys, you could say, why don't we just make this pink as well? And the girls will want it too. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. To get sidetracked is like I'm losing my focus. All right, let's go. Okay, return on investment. So also ROI. So this is your the money you put in, and then how much money you put in is how much you will invest, and then the money that you get at the end is your return on investment. So what you're really hoping for is a good return on your investment. If you invest $1 million, you're hoping to get $1,500,000 or 2 million or 3 million. That's your ROI, your return on investment. Okay, so I think I've done pretty much all of them now. Let me see, just if there's another one. Okay, yep, that's it. I hope they've been useful for you. You can go through the video quite quickly to get to those. That is the pretty much around about 45 to 50 words there that are quite useful for you in your business world, to know them anyway, become familiar with them, and then be able to use them in 2023. So what I'll do is as well, I'll probably be making shorter videos of this type of thing later. I'm going to leave it at that for today, and I might be back next week, but it's the Christmas holidays, so I will be on holiday, and I'm looking forward to spending time with some friends and family. I hope you guys will too. I definitely will see you in the new year in 2023. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas and a wonderful 2023. Don't forget, stay listening to English. A couple of podcasts that I will recommend for you now would be The Intelligence from The Economist, you can find on any platform, and also the podcasts from the Financial Times, which, trust me, they're not boring, they're not too intense, they're really quite enjoyable, and they are free. You can download the application from the Financial Times, go to the podcast section. Just hit my phone. Go to the podcast section, and they are for free. So enough from me. Concentrate on your listening. I'll be back in 2023. A very happy Christmas and a wonderful new year. See you in 2023.